Yeepa, everyone, this is GasMask Cowboy right here telling you all about a subject or something or whatever you want to call it that I want to talk about. So yeah, we're entering the gas mask lenses where we're just going to talk about stuff that I like. This ain't a podcast. This ain't going to be anything. It's more of like talking about a subject that I like what JFJ does, or what the Almighty Lolly, or Pointless Hub, aka History Hub's second channel does, where I just talk about shit that I love. So yeah, first subject that I'm gonna talk about in this video is violence. Ooh ah. So yeah, violence is everywhere, no matter where, when, or why. You just can't escape it. It's in nature, history, media, and entertainment. Yes, sir, this thing is everywhere. Now, of course, I ain't here to tell anyone what they can or can't do and whatever they're doing, except for real life. Don't fucking murder someone, please. But yeah, fictional things. Otherwise, like writing a book, or making an animation, or playing a video game, that you can do. Which is a good segue to video games, the main source of entertainment of many gamers. This level of violence ranges from E for everyone to T for teens and M for mature. Now, E for everyone violence, it's for everyone. It doesn't have any crippling limbs flying everywhere or blood, and if so, it's very, very mild. T violence is for teen, obviously. This is your Horizon Zero Dawn, somewhat, Street Fighter, and I can't name others in the top of my head. Maybe Minecraft? I doubt it. I'm kidding. That's for everyone. But yeah, that's mainly for, teens. It's still, no gore or anything like that. But you do get some blood and some major violence. Like someone getting a bow and arrow in the back of their back or throat. Like in Horizon. But it's very mild. You don't see any, wounds or anything like that. They do say in the video game, this is how they say, "Oh, it's so deep. It's such a deep cut," even though it's just a mild little scratch. Now, M though, now that you can have any kind of violence in. M for mature. This is your Red Dead, Fallout, Call of Duty, Skyrim, Prey, Bloodborne, etc. Any kind of extreme violence you can think of, it's there. Now, of course, there's A for adult, but that's non-existent in this situation. Maybe because in the ASRB it's kind of illegal to, sell it. So no A for adult. It's mainly for porn anyway. But let's get back to the mature part. Anyway, M for mature. Yep, this is your popular ones. And it's been criticized a lot as well. You'll see people saying, "Oh, these violent video games will cause your children to become criminals or murderers or sociopaths and psychopaths." But that's just not the case. Violent video games don't make the person violent. It's stupid people who do stupid things. That's who do this kind of stuff. And also your granddaughter theft has also been to blame with all of this. Rockstar, the people with cojones, now are castrated and do sometimes good games, but then other times they just don't do anything. Or Call of Duty, which just fumble and fumble each time. Also Ubisoft. Oh, don't even get me started with EA. Fucking pieces of shit. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Let's move on to film. Oh yeah, Hollywood. A bunch of pedophiles. The more and more that we get into the history of Hollywood, the more it's just sad, dude. But anyway, let's talk about the good. Well, not so good, depending on how you lived in it. But anyway, violence in Hollywood. Yes, sir, violence in Hollywood has been its main frontier. From people murdering each other to murdering on screen. You got your, movies about mafia, the classics, war movies, ever since the inception of the camera, mythical beasts such as vampires, werewolves, mummies, Frankenstein, and zombies. Famously, zombies. And with that, George A. Romero making his first zombie film, Night of the Living Dead, which brought forth all sorts of violence, which today was actually pretty mild, but at the same time, it did show a few things, such as some mild blood, a lady getting, stabbed, but it was more off screen, but it was still creepy. Then a couple of years later, it brought forth with Day of the Living Dead, with its famous zombie mall, improved gore, better writing, choreography, and funny pie gags. Then we move forward to his magnum opus, or to at the very least, what was gonna be his magnum opus, Day of the Living Dead, with majorly improved gore. And it is fucking incredible, especially the ending, which I will not spoil, for you people have to see this for yourselves. Now we also have the violence where it is paid off well, such as Blomkamp trilogy of movies. For those of you that don't know Blomkamp trilogy of movies, he made 3 famous or more, famous movies such as District 9, Elysium, and Chappie. Chappie is my favorite, and District 9. Elysium, it's a bit flawed, but still pretty good, for me at least. I think it's pretty good. The payoff for violence in these movies is more towards the end instead of the very beginning or in the middle of things. In District 9, more famously, the violence in that is somewhere very everywhere at first. It's more towards the aliens, which get exploded, torn apart, or even just fucking get eaten alive, unfortunately. But also our character, main guy, I forgot his name. Wicket, I think his name was. It's in the tip of my head. But anyway, our main character unfortunately gets nearly eaten alive by a Nigerian man, who believes that by eating the aliens he'll get their power. And by near the end of the film, he gets fucking exploded. His head gets fucking blown up, dude. Oh yeah, spoilers for District 9. But yeah, head gets exploded. Bunch of people get exploded by Wicket. I'm just gonna call him Wicket. From him obtaining a mech that the Nigerians had. By the end of the movie, Wicket's mech gets too damaged to continue on and throws him up. And the main bad guy is about to shoot him, but then a group of aliens show up who are intrigued or are trying to protect Wicket from this guy. And once the guy shoots one of them, it just puts them all in a frenzy by tearing him from limb to limb. And you can hear him scream, and it's just, the first time I saw that as a kid, I just felt like, holy shit, dude. And then in the second movie, Elysium, the violence in that movie also is kind of mild. You see people getting shot, their arms get broken, but, like I said, it's a bit mild. But then you see the main bad guy, the actor of Wicket, who is my favorite, by the way. I forgot his name, but I'll just edit his name in right over here. But yeah, main bad guy is the same actor who plays as Wicket, is in the movie. His head gets completely blown up, but in the movie he gets revived from an immortal machine that heals everyone. And he gets his own exoskeleton that is way improved compared to the main guy's exosuit, and they fight on one. He takes out a grenade, but then the main guy puts the grenade into him, throws him overboard, and the guy just fucking explodes in half. And although you see it far away, you can hear the noise. Also, this ain't no Hollywood grenade. This thing is an actual grenade where it puffs into like smoke kinda, but you can just see the puff of red mist everywhere. It's fucking awesome. And then we get to his kind of magnum opus in this trilogy of movies he has, where it is Chappie, my favorite movie. Now in this movie, we follow a robot who is at first a police unit, a police robot who just walks around, helps the police in some, South African city. The Blancamp grew up in South Africa, so I'm not surprised he's using, South African elements or cities in his movies. So yeah, he's in South Africa. This thing is damaged by an RPG and only has like a couple days in his battery. And the main guy tries to make this robot not into a police robot, but more using like a code where it's self-learning. And at first, Chappie is a little child robot, but then as the movie goes on, he becomes more and more not adult, but more intelligent. I would say. And while he's growing up with these group of criminals that at first were trying to make him, into a robber. But the main guy is like, don't become like them, Chappie. And then the funny thing, one of these guys called America, which I fucking love, says, "What do you mean them?" And he's fucking hilarious. I fucking love America. But then the main bad guy, who is in the background being all cynical and being like, why is my robots not being used? Even though his robot is literal fucking Metal Gear. And even in the movie, they're like, dude, this is way too overkill. We need police units, not a fucking Metal Gear. And the main bad guy is also played by the guy who plays Logan. Fuck, I keep forgetting everyone's name. I'll just put his name up. But yeah, he gets a chance on taking out his Metal Gear by just destroying the code kinda from all the police robots that the main guy made, and is also blackmailing him and shows his boss that, hey, look, this guy is also part of a criminal organization and he did this. And then the stupid lady is like, okay, you can take out your robots, or singular one robot Metal Gear. And it's a prototype, by the way. So he takes it out. He unfortunately kills America, but America doesn't go out in like an explosion or a bunch of bullets raining down on him. No, he gets fucking torn in half from his mid waist, by just being torn in half by a claw this Metal Gear has, and he just throws him into a fucking wall. And I fucking love that guy, and it was just heartbroken to see my little Mexican American just get torn to shreds. Then we get to the somewhat mild violence in the Hulk movies, which, being part of Marvel or any corporate movie production, is very strange. Like, you're allowed to get away with some stuff, but not everything, Like with Blancamp, he was able to get away with some of this stuff because they were mainly towards aliens, ethnicity. I'm kidding. But yeah, he was able to get away with this stuff because it was R-rated in the suits. They didn't care. But when it comes to stuff that Marvel, Disney, or even DC does, they have to tone it down a bit for their, kid audiences. So they can't get away with too many things, but they can't get away with some swearing and also some violence towards robots, aliens, and a bunch of green goo. But the violence that they can get away with can also be very violent, such as an Incredible Hulk or Hulk 2008, the 2008 movie, where, dude, it's fucking violent. I'm gonna be honest with you. You see, it's mainly because of this one specific scene, or a couple of other scenes. First scene I'm gonna talk about is where Banner is being chased by a group of hooligans, I'm gonna call them. They were harassing him earlier in the movie, and now he bumped into them again, and they're gonna kick his ass while he's like, don't do this, dude. I'm the fucking Hulk, but they don't want to hear it or think he's a fucking piece of shit. I mean, not piece of shit. He's a fucking wimp. Let's just kick his ass more. Then he turns to the Hulk, and it's just he grabs one of them and throws him through a bunch of windows, crashes into them. The other guy, I think he grabs and just fucking crushes him. Well, we zoom into a shoe, and the rest is where he kills an entire military squad, SEAL Team 6, and Ross is like, use live bullets. No, get the fuck out of there. But he didn't tell them about the fucking Hulk. And then the same thing happens again, where a bunch of his squad is like, okay, we have Banner. He's gonna get smoked out by all this tear gas. No worries, it'll be fine. Then the fucking Hulk gets angry because he sees Betty being all like, don't fucking hurt him. And then he just turns into the Hulk, crashes the fucking side of the hallway of the what was it? I think it was a university. Just roars, crashes out, jumps, and then it just him, muscles and all, testosterone can course through your veins that you see this scene, and it's just roar. He roars, dude. This ain't some line roar. This is some fucking roar. And so he fucking destroys the entire military squad, left and right, couple of jeeps. Then there was this other guy who was not the Thing. He's the Abomination. But he took the serum that Captain America did, but this was like very unstable part of the serum. And he's like, I can take him, and he let's be honest, he kind of does it, but then he's like, then near the end of the scene, he's like, is that what you got? And then the Hulk just fucking kicks him. He starfishes across the fucking field and crashes it right into the tree, head first. Face first, I should say. And that right there is a fucking violent scene, I may add. Now let's get to animation. Because animation, such as in cartoons or anime, they can get away with a bunch of stuff. Especially in American cartoons, I should say. At least in some stuff. And earlier cartoons, like in 2003 or not 2003, 2010, and some earlier ones, they were to get away some stuff, including in movies. But it's mainly because it's towards fictional characters, and also they don't tell the viewer, their viewer base, the kid viewer base, like, oh shit, this guy is dead, or like, no worries, we're fine. Like DC or Marvel cartoons, they'll be like, he's fine. Or even in some other seasons, like in DC, Batman, or Beyond, I think it's Beyond Batman. Fuck. By the way, I'm gonna edit this like a lot, but anyway, Batman Beyond. Yeah, that's the show. They show violence, the cartoon way, but also that people died in this show. Terry's dad gets assassinated, I believe, by his boss, who is this radiation guy, after Terry tries to kill him. We also see some old characters, such as Bane, where what happens to him is actually pretty sad. It's because the rampant use of his venom, the steroid plus 10,000 that he used in the original cartoon, where it just made him into a fucking vegetable, dude. Aside from cartoons in the West, more in the... Wait, are we the East or West? West. I would just say West again. West, as in Japan. Their violence is, and in animation and anime, is a lot more not restricted. They can show with a bunch of stuff, depending on what series they're trying to go for. I'm not gonna go into the willy nitty of the stuff that they, the definition of things, because it's a bit hazy for me at the moment. But the violence goes from teenager stuff towards teenagers to adults, and the stuff for adults is mainly porn, but the stuff for teenagers is actually pretty violent, I must say. Uh, Such as they can get away with some, not gore, but more as they can get away with people having their chest blown open, some blood, actually a lot of blood, depending on what show you're watching, and also I believe they can get away with some swearing, or at the very least some mild swearing. The other stuff for more mature audiences, such as for adult, they can get away with a lot more stuff. It's more towards young adults, not full blown adults. It's a bit weird, but yeah, they can get away with some more violent stuff, such as in Berserk. They can get away with some nudity, but they can also get away with people their heads chopping off, full blown gore, such as in Angel Cop, the Violent Jack, and some other stuff that I'm a bit hazy at. But yeah, they could get away with a lot of violence, dude. Then we have some more violence here in the US, in entertainment I'm talking about, where it's, I'm a bit hesitant to say. It's more in the comic books industry, where they can get away with a bunch of shit, actually. Uh, but it's the comic Crossed. Yeah, this thing. I read some of the stories, actually pretty much all the stories, but it's not really good. It's more of a torture porn thing. You see this and you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely something some psycho made, and you're right. This psycho is Garth Ennis. He's the same guy who made The Boys, Preacher, and also some other stuff. Ah, yes, he also made Punisher, the Punisher Max series to be specific, and some other Punisher storylines. Which he also made another storyline with the Punisher in Vietnam with Nick Fury. And from what I heard, it's pretty good. From what you hear of Garth Ennis, you may think he's just some guy who can't write stories, and so he uses violence in this way. And you'd be somewhat right. But here's the thing, Garth is a guy who grew up not with superheroes, which is why, he also made The Boys. But also, he can write stories. I'm going to tell you, he can write good stories. Punisher Max is a good example. And any Punisher storyline that he's made is pretty good. He can write stories. It's just that his more famous works require more violent shit, which is why Crossed exists, kinda. This is more of a violent way that you can be like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this most violent shit and see how it goes. And surprise, surprise, it sold like hotcakes. His first storyline in the book is very simple. It follows a group where they're trying to escape the infected Crossed, who are a group of infected who are, surprise, surprise, infected with this Crossed virus, which lowers all their inhibitions. Like any inhibitions, any thought of violence, or any excess of ways that they can think of towards a human being, animal, object, or thing, they can do without any reason. It's fucking awful what they can do. And they'll do it. I'm not gonna explain it. You'll just have to read it yourself if you want to. It's Crossed. It's very famous. But if you have a squeamish stomach, I would suggest not to read it, dude. But if you're intrigued or at the very least interested in this, then go ahead, man. I ain't your mama. Which brings me to actually the end of this video. This video is about violence and media, and the Cross is kind of the somewhat epitome of violence that I can think of, aside from Junji Ito's work, but his work is more Lovecraftian psychological horror. And also some other people that I can think of that do, not violence, but some psychological stuff, such as David Firth, and also his, Salad Fingers, and also Dead Sound, who has made some pretty good work. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good dude who made Soria, dinosaurs, Dinosauria, and also what the fuck, Autodel, the Autodel series. That's a great series. I recommend you guys watch that. And also, actually, here's a bonus one. Have you guys seen this one thing called Lighthouse District or Gaslight? What's it called? The Gaslight District. That's a pretty good animation series pilot. I liked it. It's pretty good. Actually, this is the main reason why I made this video. Go watch the Gaslight District. It's pretty good. Not sponsored, by the way. I just think it's pretty good. Anyway. Oh, and also, another for mild violence and full-blown violence are 2 comic books and 1 regular book. 2 comic books. Bones, which is a somewhat mythical world. Well, actually, it is a mythical world set in somewhat of a medieval setting, kinda. It's hard to explain, but it follows 3 creatures called Bones who are humanoid and are more like early 1920s cartoons, like Mickey Mouse or other cartoons, like Popeye. And they talk like Popeye sometimes. Well, at least a few characters, and one is like Goofy, and another one is like some other character. I forgot the name of it. I would think that they would sound like Oswald, but then it turns into a very serious story where it's the end of the world. This evil demon is not sealed, and we see a bunch of limbs being cut off. People die in this series, and there's a little bit of blood. Next comic I should see that I liked, actually, one of my first comics, is Amulet. That Amulet series, dude. It's epic. It is awesome. It follows a bunch of it's a bit tough to explain in a short video, but it's epic. It follows a character who lost their dad. This is the first part, by the way. And her dad's car just plunges to the depths, dude. First scene. And there's more like this later on. Way violent, too. The other books, I just included another 2 books. Another one is Spiderwick Chronicles. The books are amazing, full of I'm gonna say this, pretty violent stuff. It's somewhat follows the movie. Somewhat follows the books, but they cut way too much. The books are stupendous. Then we go to Cormac McCarthy. Yes, that Cormac McCarthy, who made The Road and the infamous Blood Meridian. It's infamous because it has fucking everything, dude. From violence, from mythical storytelling, possibly a demon in there too. Who knows? But it also has some, I would say, psychological things in there. I haven't finished the book, but it's very, very dark, and I do recommend it. That's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe if you want to, or leave a comment. I don't care. Critique it. Anyway, bye.